In the center of the Andros galaxy, floating above a silver planet, there was a giant palace made of crystal and steel. Inside the palace lived Queen Zalara, ruler of the powerful alien race called the Zyrenes. She was known across the stars, just for her beauty, but for her mind, her strength, and her strange challenge. On her throne, Queen Zalara made a promise. Whoever opens the ancient box will earn my hand in marriage. It was not a joke. She meant every word. The box stood in the middle of the royal chamber. It was made of black stone, older than any planet. It hummed with energy. Blue symbols glowed on its sides. No one knew who built it. The box had no key, no lock, and no button. It simply waited. Warriors, kings, scientists, and even machines had tried to open the box. But every time, it shocked them, burned them, or sent them flying across the room. Some never woke up again. The queen didn't stop them. She only watched with cold eyes. The challenge became famous. Across the galaxy, people laughed and said, only a fool would try to open the queen's box. And then, a human came. His name was Captain Elias Drake, a space explorer from Earth. Brave, smart, and a little bit crazy. He had heard about the queen's challenge while sitting in a dirty bar on a mining moon. He smiled and said, box no one can open? Sounds fun. The aliens laughed. You'll die, human. Elias just shrugged. Then I'll die with style. He cleaned his jacket, jumped into his old ship, and flew straight to Queen Zalara's palace. When he arrived, the royal guards didn't want to let him in. You are not welcome here, Earthman, one growled. Elias smiled. But I brought flowers. He handed over a small cactus and a coffee mug. The guard blinked in confusion. Somehow, he was allowed inside. The throne room was silent. The queen sat high above on her crystal seat. Around her stood warriors, nobles, and scientists from across the galaxy. And there, glowing in the center, was the box. Elias looked at it. The box buzzed like a hive. His skin tingled. He could feel the power inside it. The queen looked down at him. Why are you here, human? Elias grinned. I heard you needed someone to open your box. The room gasped. Some aliens growled. Others laughed. The queen narrowed her eyes. Many have tried. None have succeeded. Elias stepped closer. Maybe you just needed the right kind of crazy. She watched him with interest. No fear, no hesitation. Very human. Elias stood before the box. He reached out his hand slowly. Whispers filled the room. He's going to die. His fingers touched the surface. The box shook. Energy sparked. Blue light raced across the floor. The room trembled. Then boom, a flash of light. Elias was thrown back 5 meters. He hit the floor hard. Smoke filled the chamber. Everyone rushed forward to check if he was alive. And then he coughed. Okay. Elias groaned, lying on the ground. That tickled. Laughter broke out from one side of the room. Even some of the queen's guards looked surprised. The queen stood up from her throne. For the first time in years, she smiled. Take him to the guest chambers, she said. I want to speak to him later. That night, Elias sat in a silver room with glowing walls and soft alien pillows. He stared at the ceiling, rubbing his shoulder. He had touched the box and survived. He didn't open it. Not yet, but no one had gotten that far before. Just then, a small robot entered the room. It beeped and showed a hologram of Queen Zalara. Her voice was soft and clear. You are more than I expected, human. Rest well. Tomorrow we talk. The message ended. Elias leaned back and laughed quietly. Well, this just got interesting. Outside, stars burned bright over the alien palace. And deep inside the box, something ancient stirred. Something waiting to be set free. Asterisk the next morning, Captain Elias woke up to the sound of alien music, soft, slow tones played by floating silver orbs. He stretched, winced from the pain in his back, and smiled. "Still alive," he whispered. "That's a good start." Outside his guest room, the palace was already awake. Alien nobles, tall guards, and flying servants moved through glowing halls, but everyone was talking about the same thing. The human touched the box and lived. No one had done that before. Not even the strongest warriors from the Red Suns or the wise monks of Solari Prime. But a simple human from Earth? He had touched it and survived. The queen sat in her private chamber, staring at a screen that showed Elias pacing back and forth in his room. She was curious. Why did he come? She asked her advisor. The old alien with long silver skin bowed. Perhaps for glory, perhaps for madness. The queen smiled faintly. Or something else. She stood up. Prepare the trial room. Let us see what he is really made of. Later, Elias was brought to a long, open chamber. The walls were made of crystal, and in the center stood 3 tall alien machines. Above them floated the queen, sitting on a floating chair, dressed in a black cloak lined with stardust. "Welcome, human," she said. Elias looked up. "Nice room. Needs a coffee machine." Some guards grunted, not sure if it was a joke. The queen tilted her head. "I gave you a chance," she said. "Now I offer you a test." Elias crossed his arms. "Another box?" She smiled. "No, 3 riddles. Each one reveals a truth. Pass, and you may ask 1 question of me." He raised an eyebrow. "And if I fail, you will leave my palace in silence and never return." Elias looked at the 3 machines. They started to glow. "Let's play," he said. "Riddle 1. The first machine spoke. I have no life, but I can die. I live in silence, but make others speak. What am I?" Elias frowned. He walked in circles. The queen watched silently. The nobles whispered. He stopped. "A book," he said. The machine buzzed once, then turned off. The queen raised an eyebrow. 1 point to the human. Riddle 2. The second machine spoke. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Elias smiled. Footsteps. The second machine shut down. Now the chamber was quiet. Even the queen sat straighter. Riddle 3. The third machine glowed brighter. Then it asked, I am not a thing. I am not a person. I am. The reason for war and peace, the start of love, and the end of lies. I can break empires. What am I? Elias froze. This was different. It wasn't a riddle. It was a trap. He whispered to himself, walking back and forth. Not a thing. Not a person. Love. War. He looked up. It's a choice. Silence. The machine flickered. Then shut down. The queen stood. Everyone looked at her. Even the guards were quiet. You solved them, she said, walking down the steps toward him. Elias shrugged. I read a lot. She stopped in front of him. Her eyes were cold and sharp. Most warriors try to be clever. You didn't. You trusted your heart. Elias nodded. Hearts never let me down much. She studied him for a long moment. Then she said, You may ask one question. Elias didn't blink. Did you really mean it? The promise? The box? The marriage? The queen's face changed. For the first time, she seemed unsure. I made the promise to test strength, she said slowly, but not just of body, of mind, of soul. The box is not simple. It's more than it seems. He stepped closer. So, is the marriage real? She looked into his eyes. If you open the box, she said, you will find the answer. Then she turned and walked away, her cloak sweeping behind her like a wave of stars. That night, Elias stood again before the box. He didn't touch it this time. He just stared at it, thinking something was inside, something ancient, something waiting. And somewhere high above, the queen watched him again. For the first time in her life, her heart beat faster than her mind. Asterisk. The next morning, the skies over the alien palace turned dark, not with clouds, but with ships. Hundreds of alien nobles, soldiers, and watchers arrived from across the galaxy. News had spread fast. The humans solved the queen's riddles. He's still alive. She's watching him. Now, everyone wanted to see what would happen next. Captain Elias stood on a high platform made of glowing stone. He looked down at the crowd of aliens below, then up at the floating balcony where Queen Zalara stood. She wore silver armor today. Her voice echoed across the sky. Today, the human faces my final tests. He has shown bravery. He has shown wit. But now, I will test his heart. Elias rolled his eyes. Why is it always my heart? Some aliens laughed. Others hissed. The queen raised her hand. 3 giant gates opened behind Elias. From them came strange creatures, one with wings of fire, one made of metal and mist, and the third was not a creature at all. It was a small child, scared and lost. Elias looked at them, confused. What is this? A queen's voice was calm. This is a game, a test. You must save only one. The rest will vanish forever. He blinked. Are you serious? She nodded. Choose. The crowd went silent. Even the wind stopped. The fire beast roared. The metal creature cried out. The child looked at Elias with wide, scared eyes. He looked at them all, then looked at the queen. Is this a trick? No, she said. But your choice will show me who you really are. Elias walked slowly toward the 3. He didn't move fast. He wasn't afraid, but he was thinking. The fire beast is dangerous. Maybe useful in war. The metal one is intelligent. Maybe it's a weapon. The child is helpless. The crowd leaned in. The queen's eyes narrowed. Elias bent down and picked up the child. I choose the one who can't fight back. The fire beast and the metal creature vanished in a flash of light. The platform dimmed. The queen stood still. Why? She asked. Elias looked up. Because the strong don't need saving. The weak do. The queen was silent for a moment. Then she gave a small nod. Follow me. Inside the palace, she led him through long halls filled with stars and statues. No guards followed. No nobles watched. It was just her and Elias. They walked in silence until they reached a dark room. In the center of the room floated a glowing sphere, like a small sun. The queen stopped. Do you know what this is? She asked. A fancy alien lamp? Elias guessed. She almost smiled. It is a memory crystal. It shows the past, my past. She touched the sphere. Light spilled out. Images appeared. A younger Queen Zalara, standing beside a different box smaller, newer. She was not smiling. Her eyes were full of pain. That was my brother, she said. He tried to open the original box, and it destroyed him. Elias watched, quiet. I made the challenge to find someone not just brave, but someone who understands loss, someone who would think, not just fight. She turned to him. You came here for a game, but this is not a game. The box holds something alive, something dangerous. Elias stepped forward. Then why let anyone try to open it? She looked down. Because the box is dying. And when it dies, what's inside will be free. Silence filled the room. Elias whispered, and what happens if I do open it? The queen looked into his eyes. Then either you save this galaxy, or destroy it. That night, Elias stood in his room. staring at the stars. He had come here for a challenge. Now, he was part of something much bigger. Maybe even a war. He opened a small Earth photo from his pocket. A picture of his team, his lost crew. Let's see how far one human can go. In the shadows of the palace, unseen by both Elias and the Queen, something watched. Something old. An angry dot. It was not ready to be free. But soon, it would be asterisk. The stars over the Zyran Palace burned brighter that night. But inside the crystal, walls, shadows moved. Not all were happy that Elias had passed the Queen's tests. Not all wanted the box to be opened. And some wanted the human dead. Captain Elias sat on the balcony, sipping something warm and purple from a glowing cup. It tasted like mint and starlight. He had stopped asking questions about the food here. His eyes scanned the sky. Why me? He whispered. Out of all the people in the galaxy. Why me? He didn't expect an answer, but one came. Because you are not afraid to feel. Queen Zalara stood behind him, dressed not in armor, but in a soft robe like flowing night. Elias smiled. You always sneak up like that? She sat beside him. Only when I want answers. They watched the stars in silence. Then she spoke softly. Tomorrow, you will touch the box again. Elias didn't move. Will it kill me this time? The Queen turned her face toward him. Maybe, or maybe it will show you what it showed me. Elias blinked. You touched it? She nodded. Once, long ago. It showed me my greatest fear and my greatest weakness. What did you see? He asked. Myself, she said. Alone. Before he could respond, a sudden boom shook the air. The balcony lights blinked out. Red alarms began to scream. In the sky, a black ship appeared, silent, sharp, and fast. It fired again. Crystal towers cracked. Guards ran in every direction. Elias jumped to his feet. What the hell is that? Assassins, the Queen said calmly. They want the box. And they want me dead. Great. I left my gun in my other pants. Suddenly, 3 figures in black armor crashed onto the balcony. Their faces were hidden behind glass masks. Each held a glowing blade. Elias stepped in front of the Queen. Get behind me. She looked surprised. You're unarmed. So are you, he said, fists clenched. Let's see who dies first. The first assassin charged. Elias ducked, grabbed the alien's arm, and twisted. The blade fell. He kicked the attacker over the edge of the balcony. One down. The second leapt high, spinning. Elias raised his arms, but the Queen stepped forward, grabbed a nearby rod, and threw it like lightning. The assassin hit the wall. Hard. 2 down. The third aimed a weapon not at Elias, but at the Queen. No. Elias shouted. He threw himself forward just as the weapon fired. The blast hit his side. He collapsed, groaning. The third assassin prepared to strike again, but a laser from above burned through its helmet. The royal guard, finally catching up, finished the fight. Elias lay on the ground, coughing. Blood ran down his side, not a lot, but enough. The Queen knelt beside him. You fool, she said, voice shaking. Why would you protect me? Because I'm not done annoying you yet. Elias whispered. She almost laughed. Get him to the healers. She shouted. Later that night, in a quiet chamber filled with soft lights and humming machines, Elias slept on a smooth white bed. His side was bandaged. His heartbeat slow but strong. Queen Zalara sat beside him, silent. She had ruled galaxies, broken enemies, commanded armies. But now, watching this human sleep, she felt something strange, something dangerous. You are not like the others, she whispered. You are something new. Behind her, her advisor entered. Your Majesty, there is more. More assassins? she asked. No, worse. The box, it's changing. She turned quickly. Changing how? It is waking up. Far below, deep in the palace vaults, the ancient black box pulsed. With blue light, symbols glowed brighter. And inside, something moved. A voice whispering in a language no one had spoken in 10,000 years echoed in the silence. The key is close, the time is near, and the price will be love. Captain Elias dreamed of a storm, not just wind and rain, but a storm of stars. He was floating, alone in a sky made of memories. Voices echoed around him. You are the key. Open it. She is not what she seems. He saw the queen standing on a battlefield, her hands covered in blood. Her crown was cracked. Her eyes were cold. Then he saw her again kneeling beside him, trying to save him. Two sides. One person. Then the box appeared. Black, silent, alive. It opened. Inside was him. Elias woke up with a gasp. He was still in the healing chamber. Machines hummed softly, but something was different. The box was calling him. He stood up, pulling off the healing wires. His side still hurt, but he didn't care. Something deep in the palace had awakened, and it wanted him. Queen Zalara sat in the war room with her generals. The reports were bad. The box is sending signals across the stars. We are being watched. An old enemy has heard the call. She stood quickly. Where is Elias? One guard stepped forward. Gone, Majesty. He left the healing room. Her heart skipped a beat. No, not yet. Elias walked alone through the palace vaults. The deeper he went, the colder it became. Lights flickered. The walls began to pulse with a strange rhythm like a heartbeat. And then, there it was. The box. It no longer sat still. It floated, glowing, whispering in his mind. You are ready? He stepped closer. What are you? He whispered. Vision exploded in his head. The box's secret. He saw a galaxy on fire. Planets broken. Ships torn apart. Then he saw ancient beings, tall, golden, powerful. The first makers. They had created the box as a prison. Inside it, they locked a god of pure energy. A being called Nethari on. Netharion had one goal, to make all life bend or break. The queen's ancestors had kept the box safe for 10,000 years. But now it was weakening. And Elias somehow was its final key. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Why me? I'm just a soldier. I'm not a hero, the box whispered, because you lost everything and still chose to save. Because you are not ruled by fear. Because she loves you. Elias froze. She? What? But before he could think, the queen entered. She looked at him, eyes wide, voice sharp. You should not be here. Elias stood slowly. It called me. She stepped closer. The box is not a thing. It's a test. A doorway. And now it's too close to opening. Then let's open it, he said. She shook her head. No. If it opens now, Netharion will be free. Elias looked at her with calm eyes. What if I can stop it? She looked away. You'll die. He stepped forward, gently placed his hand on hers, then tell me to walk away. Say it, right now. She didn't speak, because she COULDN single quotes T. Suddenly, the box lit up brighter than ever. The floor shook. Energy exploded outward. The chamber cracked. And in the light, a shape began to form. A tall shadow wrapped in stars. Netharion. The queen drew her blade. Run! But Elias didn't move. He stepped toward the light. I didn't come here to run. I came here to end this. The box split open. Light swallowed him whole. In that moment, Elias saw every life in the galaxy, every heartbeat, every tear, and then Silence. Darkness. In the war room above. All. Screens went black. Guards shouted. Generals screamed. We've lost the vault. No readings, no signs of life. Queen Zalara stood still, hand shaking. One word fell from her lips. Elias. In the ruins of the vault, the light faded. Smoke drifted, and something stepped out of the shattered box. But it was not Netharion. It was Elias. Alive. Changed. And glowing. Asterisk. The vault was quiet. The box was gone, shattered into dust. In its place stood Captain Elias. But he was no longer just a man. His body glowed with golden light. His eyes burned like stars. His voice was not only his. I see everything, Elias whispered. The pain, the history, the cost of power. Queen Zalara ran toward him, her heart racing. Elias, are you hurt? He looked at her, his face calm. No, but I'm not the same anymore. He held out his hands. Flames of energy rose and danced. The power of Netharion is inside me, but so is something else. Something human. Above the palace, the sky turned dark. A massive fleet of warships appeared, cold, silent. Deadly. An old enemy had arrived. The Oblivion Lord's ancient beings who once served. Netharion had returned to finish what they started. Their leader, a shadow made of metal and thought, sent a message. Return the fire, or burn with it. Queen. Zalara stood at the edge of the royal tower, staring at the sky. We cannot fight them, not without the box. Elias appeared beside her, glowing brighter now. Then don't fight them alone. He raised his hand. Behind him, blue energy shaped itself into a shield, a sword, wings. He had become something new. Not a god, not a machine, a protector. You once asked if I was afraid, he said. I was, but not anymore. The battle began. Thousands of alien ships fired. The skies exploded, but Elias flew. He moved like fire. He fought like lightning. He shielded entire cities with his bare hands. The queen commanded her fleets below. Her voice was steady, but her eyes never left Elias. He wasn't just fighting, he was burning for all of them. The enemy leader faced him at last, floating above the clouds. You are not a god, it hissed. Elias stared back. No, I'm something stronger. He reached out, not with anger, but with understanding. He showed the enemy his memories. Earth, loss, hope, sacrifice, love. The ancient enemy screamed and cracked the human heart. Too much for it to hold. Then it vanished into the stars. The battle ended. Elias fell from the sky like a falling star. Queen Zalara rushed to him. He was weak, barely breathing. She knelt beside him. Stay with me, she whispered. Please. He opened one eye, smiled faintly. Told you? I'm hard to kill. 1 week later, the galaxy was at peace. The queen stood in the royal court. Crowds cheered as she stepped forward, but she held no sword. Instead, she held his hand. He saved us all, she said, not because he had power, but because he chose love over fear. Elias, still glowing faintly, stood beside her, no longer just a visitor from Earth. He was now something more, a legend. As the stars shined above, a new message spread across the galaxy. The box is gone, but its gift remains. A human came from a forgotten planet and became the fire that saved us all.